Welcome, fellow freaks, geeks, and nostalgic peeps, to my channel, Simon Slasher's, where, yeah, we talk about everything from Nickelodeon slime, and that includes 80s and 90s nostalgia, to horror movies and books, and beyond! But today's video, it is a book-themed video, and it's one of my favorite videos to make, and that is my TBR video for the month. So stay right where you are, we'll come right back, and we will get into everything I want to read. Welcome back, guys! Dun dun dun! We are living in sad and stressful times, so I'm really excited to be filming this because it does cheer me up to talk about what I'm reading and what I'm watching and looking ahead. In some cases. In other cases, it's depressing. But when it comes to books and movies, it's exciting and it brings some joy. So hopefully this can bring you some joy as well and maybe lift you up, because I know a lot of people right now, including myself, are struggling. Also, please excuse me, I am totally broken out right now and gross, but what can you do? Stressful times, sad times, but we're here to talk about fun things. So November, this is a very late November TBR. So I'm already in the middle of reading some things. I've read, I think, one thing officially. If you see me looking down, I'm just looking at my little spreadsheet where I make my TBRs. It's got like little book covers. I love it. It's very handy, very dandy. Handy dandy spreadsheet. I've talked about it before. I love my spreadsheet. Let's get into the most important things, I guess, which would be my book club read. I have one book club read, but I also am doing a Richard Lehman read-along that I've been doing with my friend Christine over at the channel Cryptids Read. Check out her channel. She is awesome. We both enjoyed the book from last month, which is awesome and exciting. So this month's book, I'm hoping, hits just as nice as the last month's book, so we will get there in a second. But first, my own book club, the Midnight Book Society. We have a Discord. It is free and open to the public. I thought I was going to have live shows this year. I have not been having live shows this year. However, next year I'm revamping things, and instead of asking people to co-host, which really stresses me out in terms of I don't know when to ask them to schedule the talk, and it feels just very stressful in terms of I don't want to bother them, and the timetables are weird. So I'm just going to host any live shows I do next year on my own, and that way I can kind of wait till the month of the live show and I can determine like a week or two before when it's going to be. And that will be a lot easier for me and my schedule and how things work, and I won't be stressed about inconveniencing other people in terms of, you know, timetables and stuff. So I think this will be easier going forward, and that I will bring back my live shows eventually, but there will be no live show for this November book club pick, and that is Dark Matter by Michelle Paver. I think that's how you say her last name, but I have heard great things about this. It's a super slow burn, so don't expect plenty of action and plenty of horror right away. In fact, I've heard that the horror is quite subtle, but the atmosphere is creepy and full of dread, and I think that is really exciting. I love books like that. My friend Amy did already read this book, and I think my friend Alicia also read this book, but check out my friend Amy's channel over at Amy Noel Reads. She has a video where she already has talked about her feelings without spoilers about Dark Matter. I will link that down below. Make sure you follow her. And as I was saying, the Richard Lehman read for November. We've got to discuss what that is, and lots of people call this one of his best books, so I've got high hopes for this one. It does have an audiobook, by the way, if you're an audiobook person, so check that off the list if you're looking for audio. This is Savage by Richard Lehman, and apparently it's kind of a twist on the Jack the Ripper story, so I'm excited about this one. Amy from Amy Noel Reads also already read this one and really liked it. In fact, it's the main Lehman that she has enjoyed out of the ones she's read. That makes me excited, and I'm really eager to get to it. She said it had good characters, which isn't always the case for a Richard Lehman book, of course. So I am really excited after hearing her positive thoughts. I'm hoping that both me and Christine and whoever else joins us will like it too. If you want to tag along for this month's Richard Lehman read, we talk about it in my book club Discord. So same Discord as my book club, but you don't have to do both of the reads. You could choose one or the other. So anyway, it's linked below. My big theme for November is cryptids and movie novelizations and movie tie-ins. And there's other random things thrown in, but I guess the other third big category of November is Christmas romance. I started reading randomly Christmas romance 2 years ago in November for a special Horror Lover Reads Romance vlog, and it was my first time ever actually diving into romance, and surprisingly, I found some things that I loved. And last year, I also read some Christmas romance, and I'm going to repeat the tradition this year. So there is Christmas romance on this November TBR. Christmas/snowy/holiday romance. You know, not all of it mentions specifically Christmas. Alright, I have actually already read one of the books that was on my list. That was a Christmas/winter romance, and that is The Holiday Swap by Maggie Knox. This one was really fun, really cute. It's kind of like The Parent Trap in a way, but grown-up women, grown-up twin sisters, and they were already sisters. They didn't not know that they were sisters, but the idea of switching places is, you know, a big part of the plot, and I enjoyed it. It wasn't the greatest romance novel I've ever read, but it's definitely enjoyable for the season. I'm landing on a 4-star rating. So that was on my TBR, and I already read it. So I feel accomplished already. So while we're talking about romance, let's just go over the other romance books that I have on my TBR. I'm also currently in the middle of one called A Little Magic by Lindsay Lanza, and I'm loving it. I feel like this one has 5-star potential for me. Very slow burn. It's going back and forth in time because you get these two people's past and their present situation, and I'm really liking it. The main female character has lupus, so that's part of the novel too, her struggles with that, and also her strained relationship with her family. I just have good feelings about this. It's my kind of romance. I'm liking it a lot, so I think it could be great. Alright, other romance books that are on the list that I have not started yet include Snowed In by Catherine Walsh. I read another romance book from Catherine Walsh last year, and a lot of it took place in Ireland, and I liked that a lot. So this is kind of in the same series, but it doesn't follow the two same main characters. It's like these characters are loosely related to the characters from the other book I read last year. Sorry, Jackson moved the tripod, so if I move, that's why. So another one I have my eye on is called A December to Remember. I'm not sure if it's a romance or just like a story of family, but it seems very sweet, very cozy, very cute, and it follows 3 bickering half-sisters, says the description. Another book that seems wintry is My Lucky Charm. It also seems like it could be St. Patrick's themed, but anyway, there's 2 skaters on the front cover, and that's what makes me think that it's wintry, but it could be more St. Patty's theme, so I have to look into it a little bit more before I dive in, but it is a potential on the list. We will see. Then I've got 2 books on my potentials list from Ashley Poston. I have loved books from her before, so I've got The 7-Year Slip on my list for November, and A Novel Love Story. Those aren't Christmassy or wintry, I don't think, but I want to read them regardless because I've liked her other romance novels, and to me, because of my random tradition from 2 years ago, now romance equals November, or November equals romance, whatever. Turn it around and reverse it from what I originally said. I just kind of dig that kind of vibe in November, and I don't know why. You're probably even wondering, why don't I just wait till December to read the Christmassy romance? But it's like kind of preparing me for the Christmas season. I just like doing it this way. Ever since I did it 2 years ago, it's like perfect. Alright, and just a few more for romance. Old Flames and New Fortunes by Sarah Hoggle, who is actually one of my very favorite romance authors. She is the author of the first romance I read 2 Novembers ago. Just Like Magic is the name of the book, and I loved it. I'm actually going to be rereading Just Like Magic with a friend in December, so I'm really hyped about that because I love that book so freaking much, but I'm excited to get to her other book, Old Flames and New Fortunes. If I don't get to it, no big deal, because I think it'd be a great spring read for next year. And if I have time, Teen Killers at Large. This is the 3rd book in a series of books by Lily Sparks. I have read the other 2. It was about a year and a half, 2 years ago that I read them. In a perfect world, I'd really love to get to that book so I could finish out the trilogy, but we'll see. Might have to wait till next year if I don't have time this month, because it's already the 7th and I feel like I'm already running out of time. Alright, so those were all the romance books. Now let's go to the next set of thematic reads, which are my cryptid reads. So I'm reading cryptid books in honor of the Cryptid Readathon hosted by my friend Crystal over the channel Fiber Artsy, along with Jason from Jason's Weird Reads and Sin from Sin's Book Nook. So check out the readathon if you haven't heard of it. They've got a Discord, and I will link my friend Crystal's announcement video down below. I have already participated in this once before, last year, and had a ball. I did a whole Mothman themed reading vlog because Mothman is my bitch. He is my main man, and when it comes to cryptids, he's my favorite. So last year I think I read, I don't know, 7 or so Mothman books. So I'm still kind of going along with the theme of Mothman specific things. However, I threw some other potential thematic cryptid stuff in there as well. So other things I randomly found and put on my potentials list is Crota by Owl Going Back. The audio for that is on my Hoopla app, so I'm excited about that one. Then there's a KU book called The Starving by John Dobbin, which apparently is like a Western but add cryptids, because these two guys have to bring this prisoner through the woods to get their bounty reward for capturing said prisoner. And in the forest, I think cryptids, or at least a cryptid, lives. And let's see, we've got 3 more cryptid-themed reads. We've got Where the Chill Waits by T. Chris Martindale. This is on my 24 books to read in 2024, my old school list of 24 books. And I already started this one, and I'm currently loving it. I have a feeling it could be at the lowest of 4, if not higher. I don't want to jinx it. Here we come to a Mothman book, finally. This is I'm Engaged to Mothman, another romance, but it's a Mothman-themed romance, and I've already read the first book in this series. So I'm Engaged to Mothman is the second book, and I'm excited to get back into this world. It was a lot of fun. You know, it's nothing groundbreaking in terms of story, but I had a great time. And finally, I'm mentioning this one last because I tried to get into it, but I think I'm going to DNF it for now. I feel like I'm not smart enough to enjoy this book, and that is Stonefish by Scott R. Jones. There is no audio because I think the audio would help. It's futuristic, kind of dystopian setting, and this guy is trying to find this missing, I don't know if he's a scientist or who the guy actually is. It's a little confusing, but he used to be obsessed, the missing guy, used to be obsessed with cryptids, specifically Bigfoot, cryptid, when he was a kid. So, following these clues, he's going to an area where this guy used to live, and I don't know. I wish I could have gotten into it more because it sounded so unique, so different, and I don't know. I might give it another chance one day. It's not a permanent DNF forever. Next up, just a few books that are movie related or are novelizations or tie-ins. We've got Event Horizon, the novelization, and the audio for this is on /tracks. I will link that wonderful YouTube channel below. I highly suggest you check it out if you're looking for audio versions of hard to find movie novelizations, specifically more horror movie novelizations. So I'm excited to try to get to Event Horizon. I love the movie so much, and it'll be great to see what the book's like. Another book, and this book was adapted into an animated movie. This is Watership Down by Richard Adams. So this is not a novelization, but I still highly associated this book with the movie because I've only ever seen the movie. And the movie holds a very soft spot in my heart because it's so terrifying and so creepy, and I saw it probably way too young because it's animated. But don't be fooled, because definitely the animated movie is not a kid's movie. It's really not appropriate for kids, but I did watch it as a kid, funnily enough. And then I've got Sherlock Holmes and the Servants of Hell. This sounds absurd, and that's because I think it's probably so absurd that it's badass. This is a Sherlock Holmes Hellraiser crossover tie-in kind of thing, and say no more. I am very intrigued, very interested. And last but not least, I would love to get to the nonfiction book, The Exorcist Legacy, 50 Years of Fear. All about the legacy of the movie The Exorcist. That could be really, really fun and interesting. Next up, I'm going to mention just a random book. It has nothing to do with all the themes I've been talking about. This is the second book in the Even Fall Witches B&B series. And the first one I just read last month, and that was In the Company of Witches. I loved that book so much, it was a 5-star for me. The second book is called When the Crows Away. and it's probably not appropriate for winter time, so I'm hoping to read it this month before it gets, cold, because it's still hot as hell here. So I feel like it actually is more like autumn right now versus winter, so I think When the Crow's Away will fit perfectly into this month if I could squeeze it in. And last but not least, I do plan on reading a few books related to Ivy Tholen, the awesome author. She's got a new slasher book out called Mother Dear that I'm super interested in. I'm also still trying to find time to fit in Tastes Like Candy 2, which is her sequel to Tastes Like Candy, which is one of my favorite slasher books of all time. And then I'm hoping to read a few of her favorite books. So not only books by her, but some of her favorite books. We will see if that happens. I'm actually waiting on like a shipment of books to get here so I could do a giveaway around the project. So I'm kind of waiting and seeing if that's going to take place, but I'm keeping the books I will read that are her favorites a secret, so you will find out whenever I release this vlog. It may be next year, it may be this month. We'll just have to wait and see how the timing works out, but I'm excited no matter when I get to these books. It's just a potential for November, so that's why I'm mentioning it. Other than that, that's really all I have on my TBR. I will say I was just recently sent this book by the publisher, and I think it's going to find its way onto my TBR. This is American Rapture by CJ Lead. Thank you so much to Tor Nightfire. I am overjoyed to have this in my hands. I have been anticipating this book for so long, and I've heard really great things about this from my friend Katrina, from so many other people. I just really want to get to this so bad. I love her other book, Mayfly, which was one of my favorite books from last year, so her writing style just seems to really work for me, and I'm hoping I will love this one just as much. Religious horror does not bother me. Some people don't like religious elements in their horror. I actually don't mind it. I think it's kind of fascinating. So we will see, but yeah, I have a feeling this is going to be read this month because I really don't want to wait too long. Thank you again to Tor Nightfire for sending me this awesome finished copy. It's a treasure. I'm so excited to read it. And by the way, I don't own hardly any of the books that I talked about today on my TBR. That's why you did not see me holding up anything. The only book that I own is Watership Down, and I just found it when I was on vacation with my friends Cameron and Benjamin. Otherwise, I wouldn't have even had this one to show you. So yes, I don't really own any of these books, except for just these two I just held up at the end here. So I'm so sorry for all the digital pictures. It is what it is. Somehow I don't have many of these books physically. I really should be reading more what I own, but that's going to happen in December because I've got a lot of Christmassy books that I own and a lot of holiday books that I own that I can pull and read as I go through the month of December. So we can read books that we own in December. In November, we're just, we're going for vibes, we're going for happy times because we need whatever happiness we can find and whatever fun we can find. Alright guys, for this time, that is it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Have you read any of the books that are on my TBR? Let me know if you have, and which ones you think I should prioritize and make sure that I definitely get to. Or, if you don't feel like commenting anything specifically, but you want me to know that you're here, how about leaving a little movie reel or anything to do with movies, like a little slate, which is like the director's slate, you could leave that. A little film camera, whatever. Anything movie related to go along with movie novelizations and tie-ins. I don't have a ton, really, true novelizations on my TBR, but I have a few film-themed things, and that was, of course, in honor of Novelization and Tie-in Timber, run by Andrew over at It Came From The Page. I'm not sure if he's still actually running that or not, but I'm still trying to get to some reads for that, regardless. But like I said, that is truly it for me, guys. Thank you again, and until next time, guys, you know what you can do. Keep on killing it.